would like to cover about how UiPath Discovery Suite supports the identification of the agentic process automation, which is called as APA. And fortunately, we also had an amazing session done by UiPath. Bobby Patrick and Craig Leclerc has conducted a session today, which is amazing to had a coincidence on the same day with the community session. Coming to this, this being brought up by UiPath Dallas chapter, and the speakers will be myself and Arun. And quick introductions. Diana, can you give a quick intro about yourself?
Sure. I'm Diana Gray. I'm the Community Marketing Manager for UiPath. So welcome everybody to the session today. This is great.
Thank you, Diana. And myself, Naveen Chatlapalli. I'm working as a solution architect at Ashling Partners. I've been working with Ashling since 4 years. And recently, I've also been awarded as a UiPath MVP for the year 2024 for all the contributions and the community events that I've been conducting. And I've been leading Dallas chapter since a year and a half. So it's been a great opportunity that has been given to me by Diana, and I'm always thankful for her. And going to Arun, can you give a brief about yourself?
Hi. I'm one of the UiPath MVPs based in Dallas. I'm part of Cubotica's delivery team here in the US, and I've also authored a couple of books on UiPath and very active on social networks. And here we're going to talk about agentic process automation. It's going to be really interesting. Half an hour.
Thank you a lot, Arun. And coming to the agenda, we would like to quickly discuss about the overview, just to give a high level of what agentic process automation is, and how it is different from an RPA, and discover the advantage and identifying the capabilities of agentic process automation using the UiPath current discovery products. And we'll leave the floor open for discussion and future impacts.
Yeah, and I mean, are you
Without
sharing a PPT? I think you're sharing a web browser.
I'm sharing the PPT. I mean, you're not able to see it.
We are able to see the web browser, not the PPT.
But are the slides moving?
No.
No, it's called the Rise of Agentic Process Automation.
Oh, sorry about that.
You're sharing the wrong screen.
Just let me reshare that again. Thanks. At least we're able to figure out now.
There you
But
go.
how about now?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you about that. You're still able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Sorry about that. And we would like to cover a quick agenda. Today we'll discuss about the high level overview of agentic process automation and how is it different from robotic process automation. And we'll also discuss some advantages of using this agentic way of using the process automation, the hot topic, and also identify some APA candidates with the current existing UiPath Discovery products, and discuss, leave the floor open for any future impacts. So without any further ado, what is an agent in general is a human agent is a person who completes any given tasks, let it be a customer support agent or some financial claim agent or loan processing agent or anything that a human does. And if you add some AI capabilities to it to complete the tasks with minimal human interactions or requiring or implicating the human intelligence, then we are calling it as AI agents. Also, this term has been coined recently once the evolution of large language models have been coming into the real space. There are lots of LLM players like ChatGPT, Claude, and Google Bard and many LLM players that they are showing up, and they are making the operationalizing and usage of those LLMs very easy by giving out their APIs, which is able to create many applications on the top of it. And we are also able to some AI agents. And evolution of this AI agents is also coming from robotic process automation, because robotic process automation is mainly a word coined for automating your routine and mundane tasks at any given enterprise or any given solution that we are providing. So that is the reason. So this AI agents or agentic process automation is considered as an evolution from the traditional RPA. Okay. And coming to the key components, we are also talking about LLM based agents, which creates human level instructions, which create workflows from human instructions. Let it be voice, or let it be from a document, or let it be from any process flows or anything. So these are some kind of instructions that we are making, leveraging the capabilities of large language models, and we are creating these trying to create these AI agents. Also, coming to the agentic workflow execution AI agents, they are also being leveraged to monitor and manage workflows. Like, let's say, previously self-healing robots or whatever we are trying to implement, we can enhance those capabilities using these agentic AI process automation workflows. And also utilizing some sophisticated AI and machine learning algorithms, which are a daily evolving topic these days. So we can enhance these capabilities of AI agents at a very big pace. And I would like to coin this a screenshot or a design that has come captured from Gartner. Recently, Gartner has made a on future of automation is very autonomous. And if you see these lanes, the technology is in the bottom, where all the bots, APIs, Task and microservices, which are already there, they can be orchestrated by using these intelligent capabilities of intelligent document processing, IDP, and decision intelligent platforms and AI ML platforms. But the designing tools will also be existing, the discovery of process mining, process models, UX design, workflow design, which are already there. And we are connecting all these dots by using some LLM capabilities, and each and every possibility can create one AI agent there. So this is a very nice representation of given by Gartner of the agentic process automation, how we can autonomously create some workflows here. And this is also one of the white papers that we have copied from the archive. So you can go ahead and read the white paper. It is very well illustrated about the agentic process automation. So here, if you see a simple query about downloading, a human will give a task about downloading all the archives every day. And most important one, we don't know what is the recent trending topic, right? So if you are trying to do this with a robotic process automation workflow, we have to navigate to an archives website, and we have to do some clicks by using some UI selectors and entering some text boxes there, or doing some filtering options there. And we have to finally handle the rigid task to download all the papers. This process can fail at any point of time when the UI has some issues or something, but we can resolve this based on the capabilities of agentic process automation by giving some operationalized capabilities using LLMs. So we can have some control agents and data agents, which will also have to tweak based on our utilization, because not all the archive papers we wanted to consider it as the most important one. So we will give some tweaks to the process automation, giving what is the data control and data flow that we wanted to see. So these are the level of implementation, and this is a very nice paper. I would like to ask everyone to have a read of it whenever you have time. Also, recently in the London event that has been conducted by UI, Daniel Dines has considered this, also has given a great talk about what is the future going to be. So he's saying it is both going to be robotic and agentic. He's also claiming that 80% of the currently which are running can be agentic, not the 100%, because there always will be some rule-based approach. There will always be some rule-based approaches here, and where agentic processes can solve some intuitive and decision-making operations, which will be also in going hand in hand with both AI agents and the robotic process automation. As we also today in the session, Bobby Patrick has coined the word that agentic process automation will be a child, and RPA will be the ancestor of this agentic process automation. So that is a very beautiful word that we have coined. We have heard from today's discussion as well. Coming to the benefits and applications, here there are lots of benefits because it is being increasing the efficiency and reducing the development time and reducing the human errors by using these LLM capabilities. And it is very easy to adapt in various scenarios and focusing on very creative tasks. So let's say previously when some automations used to take some couple of weeks to develop, by using this agentic process automation, we can iterate the process and try to develop these within no time. Within, we can cut down the development time, but we have to spend a lot of time on how to plan these agentic process automation workflows. So that is a great benefit by using this. And coming to the applications, we can see the applications in manufacturing, finance, healthcare, and customer service. I can give a small example of how we are trying to leverage this in manufacturing options. So let's say an organization who optimizes, try to optimize some supply chain management. So they will have agents running to identify what are the current invoices that they have received, and identify the current processes that are already the current operations of their invoices that are already there in their SAP or any inventory management system. And they can see, okay, these are my level of inventory that I have to operate or I have to order somewhere. So it will automatically make some decisions, where we can also involve human in the loop operations there, and we can ask the AI agents to take decision based on the flexibility of the inventories. So these are the type of explanations and applications that we can see from agentic process automation. And without any further ado, I will hand over this to Arun. Please take the floor.
Yeah, can you go to the next slide, please?
Yeah.
Okay, so before I talk about the core topic, which is how do we use UiPath Discovery, so there are a few misconceptions regarding AI agent, right? Or whatever we call, like, it is, whether it is agentic process automation or AI agent or agentic workflow, they all mean the same. Different vendors and different thought leaders out there use them interchangeably, but after few iteration, we would reach a particular term. So as this is still very fluid, but if you hear any of these terms, they all mean the same, right? Okay, so that is one thing. And Naveen talked about the key characteristics, right? So there are like four key characteristics which upon which the APIs are built. That's a famous researcher called Andrew Ng. So according to him, there are like four important characteristics. One is reflection. Reflection is your adaptability and quick learning capability of the platform. uh, Skills or tooling, right? So whatever we saw on the previous screens, where we have API, microservices, or any even RPA processes as a service, can be leveraged to build that tooling. And there are two more interesting characteristics. One for planning, which is like splitting your complex workflow into smaller workflow and performing them autonomously. And the last very interesting is called a multi-agent concept, right, where multiple agents can be orchestrated by a single agent to perform a work, just like how we usually work as a team, right? I think the person who coined this term must be a big Matrix fan, because he might have taken this reference from Agent Smith. Okay, so coming to the topic in hand, right? This is just a very very um, initial days for APA, and even with our existing tool set provided by the UiPath Discovery, we can do some prep work, identify few processes, few areas which we can automate. So that is the whole idea of this session, right? We don't have the tool sets and everything in place, but most of the solutions are being packaged by UiPath currently. But we can at least start thinking about for identifying these candidates using the existing tooling and methodologies in place, and being ourselves ready when the tools and technology are available. We can quickly fast track and implement those solutions uh, faster than your competitors, right? So that's the whole idea of this session. So as you're aware, there are like four main products from UiPath Discovery: Automation Hub, Task Mining, Process Mining, Communication Mining, right? So I'll go through very high level how they are used, and we can even go one level down to see how they can be tailored for use. Right? When you say Automation Hub is an idea repository. So anyway, we're going to capture all the ideas, but the way we are going to capture uh, will depend on the assessments which the user would input, right? If we tailor those assessment, then we could modify it to identify APA candidates. I'll talk about this in the next slide. Similarly, in task mining, right? So in task mining, we can easily identify long running or persona based uh, characteristics of a particular user, right? That will uh, help build us our the skill or the tooling capability of the agentic process automation. Similarly, with process mining, so we have many out of the box features which we can tailor to identify APA candidates, like identifying process variations, non-conformance, and inefficiencies in the process. And lastly, with communication mining, we have a lot of out of the box features where we can identify frequent request intents, and also where we have very low quality of service or the sentiment from the customer, right? So these are very high level areas where we can identify APA. I'll walk you through them one by one on a very high level. I will not take a lot of time, but quickly go through some of these things in detail in the next slides. Uh, Okay, so I was talking about the automation hub. So if you see the rules here, these are actually present in the current automation hub, but I just tweaked them to make sense for this discussion, right? I'll quickly go through those questionnaires. So if the process is straightforward, rule based, then it's RPA, right? But if it's very complex, we have multiple variation, and those candidates or which we usually overlook for RPA projects are now APA candidates, right? Similarly, where if the process involves a lot of human decision making and there is a lot of breaks in the process, now we can combine RPA and APA to perform those use cases as well. Similarly, if there are a lot of interaction, multiple interaction with multiple systems and humans, and it's very complex decision-making process, those candidates can now be taken care as part of APA. And one of the most challenging issue in RPA is if the process and applications are going to change frequently, then we usually overlook those candidates. But that's not the case in real life. And those kind of candidates can be now taken as APA candidates. Um, and wherever the process has high frequency, high error rates, and the transactions peak during a particular period in time, so those use cases we usually try to avoid, or we try to deprioritize them when it comes to RPA world. But those use cases can be done using those four capabilities that I talked about, which is reflection, multi-agent, and planning capabilities of the agentic process automation, right? So the idea here is automation hub can be tweaked to identify API candidates in the future, right? That is the whole story here. Yeah, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so I'm just talking about three patterns, but there can be n number of patterns. But as we're just starting the journey, this is just to uh, make you think on the right right lines, right? So when you talk about task mining, so the first pattern here talks about multi-hour learning running process done by a process by a human. Let's say we do an assisted task mining, we identify that a multiple variation and it runs for multiple hours, right? Usually we don't pick those candidates like a task filing application. We have to complete the task filing end to end. It takes 6 to 8 hours for partner tasks, even more than that, right? So those kind of use cases are done and in piecemeal, or they would usually be overlooked. But those kind of candidates can now be picked as an API candidate, right? Second thing is if there are multiple switch exchanges between multiple teams and software programs, um, and it will affect the complexity score in your matrix of RPA assessment, right? So those candidates now can be picked because we have the multi-agent and real-time reflection capabilities of the agents to to help in this case. Example would be a claims processing application. The last one is more of a persona based task catalog, right? So for example, if you want to build a digital twin for a mortgage company, then let's take a mortgage underwriter persona. So how do we start with it? We would need to identify and catalog the tasks done by the person, and uh, these tasks will be added as an agentic skill, which can be automated, which can be built into microservices, and it goes into the tooling part of it, right? So as if you want to automate complex tasks done by a particular persona, then task mining can be used to identify those uh, persona based skills, and then to in turn be converted into agentic skills, which can be used when we mature down the journey with the APA, right? So these are few of the patterns, and there can be multiple patterns which can open up, and which we can identify with our using our UiPath task mining capabilities. Yeah, can you go to the next slide, please? Process mining, right? So currently process mining can be used to identify RPA candidates, but we can use the same capabilities to identify APA candidates as well, right? So three patterns are shown here, right? So let's pick up a process where we have it's non-conformant uh, and very inefficient. So we have out-of-the-box features to check the conformance of a process, and also we can identify the bottlenecks in the process using the process graph created by the process mining, right? So let's say you pick a process like a legal approval. Even if we try to remove these bottlenecks, it takes multiple iterations for the process to actually improve and complete removal of bottleneck, right? So usually the teams would do one or two iteration and they will focus on some other area. But as we are going to use the reflection capability of APA, these bottlenecks can will be worked, uh, will be relooked by the agent again and again until the process is continuously improved and automated in the long run, right? So we can identify those kind of very problematic problem process areas using this technology, right? The second one is second pattern. What I was saying is this is regarding the automation opportunity capability out of the box from process mining. So there, if we simulate uh, and identify which automation opportunities are right for RPA, the same capability can be tweaked to identify the capabilities for AP. Whichever it says are not good candidates for RPA can be picked based on the business criticality uh, and its risk profile to the business. Right, those kind of uh, cases can now be looked upon by the COE team members. The third pattern here is a process which has a lot of exceptions and failures, where we have a lot of reworks. We look at the process graph and process mining, you'd have a rework pattern, right? So those kind of process areas can be looked at as possible APA candidates. So these are few ways we can identify APA candidates in your using process mining out of the box features currently. Next slide, please. Nami? Okay, so when I talk about communication mining, okay, So communication mining. Okay, so there are three patterns. The first one is, if you have looked at mining dashboards, you easily identify a particular area of business or a particular area of messages would have the highest priority, and it has a lot of it would have the biggest number of volume in a particular area. Let's say, uh, for in IT support escalation or claims support or anywhere where we have a lot of messages, priority messages, but we don't have enough resources to cater to them because of the resource crunch. So those areas can be easily identified and API can be applied in real time, right? The second point is wherever the tone and the quality of service, these two are out of the box features from communication mining. Wherever it is negative, then we would need multiple iteration. It's not just one automation will act as a silver bullet, right? It's going to be iterative way we improve the quality of service provided and improve the tone of the customer. So wherever there is iterative, continuous improvement, like we say continuous automation opportunity available, those kind of candidates can be identified. Just like mortgage closing, which is one of the most issue which has a lot of negative score ever in any mortgage company, right? So those kind of automations can be picked up by this communication mining tool. The last pattern here is uh, if if uh, if there are multiple and complex requests in a single communication, right? So if we get a request from a customer which has 5 to 6 different requests in a single uh, email. Right now, we don't have the capability to solve all of these together with automation. So those kind of complex requests, let's say you want to change your life insurance policy terms with a new address change, adding dependents or changing some of the parameters of your terms. So those kind of complex requests doesn't need multiple separate requests or multiple automations to be built separately, right? Those kind of complex things can be handled going forward with these capabilities. So it's a few patterns which we can use to identify the API candidates. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so this is my last slide, and then I'll open it for a discussion, right? So highly this is very prominent, right? This is one of the we are at the brink of a next revolution, right? We saw RPA, how it evolved into the intelligent automation few years back, and now we are in another big cycle of change, which we call agentic workflows, right? So what we are going to expect is highly flexible adaptive systems where we'll have reliable workflows and where the system can adapt to the environment, just like the iRobots, uh, the robots you see in iRobot movie, right? And when it comes to fault tolerant and auto healing, uh, the, the process success rate and ROI are majorly impacted by the non healing capability of the current bot, right? Uh, those capabilities are going to be built in to these agents, which is going to make the process auto heal, more fault tolerant. Agents can repair themselves, and they can fix other agents and work together to build a better workflow, right? Last but not the least, human agent collaboration. There's going to be more human and agent collaboration than we are seeing currently. It's going to be more intelligent. Agents are going to be part of every business function, and um, even in today's webinar, we were talking about employee and business and enterprise wide agent collaboration, right? So we will be having agents running part of a business or a part of a small functions going forward. So that's what we are expecting. uh, but we should always remember to put in a skill switch to make sure that those agents don't infect the entire system and crash it to the ground, right? Just to end on a lighter note. Yeah. So I think that's it from our side, and we are open for questions. And these are some of the links you can refer back if you have any questions. Go ahead.
I think we got some good questions, Arun. First of all, thanks for the session. This is a great one. Just like an eye opener for many of us. Uh, so the questions from James Tyler. This reminds me of the gold process mining initiative that UiPath was working on in 2019. Like, does it build out code along with identification of repeatable processes? Do you want to comment on it, Arun?
Um, I don't think we are at that level, but I think the thought process is correct, right? When we do the continuous discovery, when we close the loop with the continuous discovery product like process mining, by feeding in the actual data back into process mining, and when we make these agents more intelligent, definitely we can use the autopilot uh, for developer features to to fix some of these issues in real time and improve the cycle, right? So definitely that, I think that's where we're going towards, but it will take few more years till we reach that complete cycle of change, right? We are taking just baby steps, but we will definitely reach there. Like, let's say a particular process breaks in between,
Yeah,
um, and we identified the bottleneck in process mining tool. Ideally, the agent would pick up that as a candidate, add it to automation hub, use the studio web to create the automation and deploy it, and again reiterate the entire cycle to see if the bottleneck is removed, right? So that's the ideal way, but I think we are very far from that future for now.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what my comment also was in the chat. Like, they're trying to achieve this, but it would be awesome to see that coming into fruition.
Right.
And the second question is, if we have a project where some steps use RPA and other steps use IDP, can we consider this as a combination as an AI agent? Does UiPath have an AI agent concept in their platform like the open source platforms Flowwise AI? Why not use only APA for both rule based and augmented tasks? I think there are three questions. The first one is, if there are some capabilities of RPA and IDP combined, can we call it as an agent?
Oh, that's called like an intelligent automation, right? So that is part of the solution, right? So when we go back to the basic characteristics of an agent, right? And I talked about reflection, multi-agent planning, and skills. So these uh, IDP and the normal process automation, they are considered as skills. But when we add intelligence to it to act on it, then they become agent. The intelligent bot is what we call as an agent, right? Where it can reflect on the work it is doing, adapt to change, and collaborate with other agents, plan the work end to end, right? Just like a human would do, right? We would not just do a work one time and then we forget, right? We learn from it, try to do it better the next time. Just like that, this is evolution for the RPA, the mundane RPA bots. We have the we have bits and pieces of these intelligent automation skills available, and this LLM has brought in more flexibility, right? So we can use, and UiPath has their own LLM capabilities, which is currently being developed, and some of them are GA. So those things are going to be used in future to build this. So I think that's one part of the question. What is the second part?
UiPath has, does UiPath have AI agent concept in their platform, like the open source platform Flowwise AI? They're
Correct.
quoting a
Right
product
now,
called as Flowwise AI. Yeah,
right. So right now they are currently building those capabilities. If you see,
yeah,
if you have heard Bobby Patrick's talk this morning, he has clearly mentioned what is in their currently cooking. Right. I think in few weeks time we'll really hear more about the actual solution. But UiPath has the bits and pieces they have to just put together, put a UI, and then package everything together, which is going to happen very really soon.
Yeah, that's what I quoted as, like, they're trying to build an end-to-end solution based out of the current existing capabilities. Yeah. And why not use only APA for both rule-based and augmented tasks? That's the third
Correct.
question.
So the thing is, some of these processes are always going to be mundane, repetitive tasks. So using an AI agent is going to cost the company more, because the computing power for the ML engine behind it is a little bit costly than a mundane task, right? We're going to have back office processes. What we're going to do, they are not going to go away anytime soon, right? We have to process multiple forms, fill multiple documents, fill those forms, and then do our reports. So those things don't need an AI agent to be built on a fly, right? Let's say a particular skill or process is not available, which needs to fill in the gap, then agents will come into picture. But if you know that, okay, we have to do 5 steps and these steps are repetitive, then an agent is not a good solution for that. So it's the future is going to be combination of both bot and agent working together, and that at some point in time we will not even know whether it's bot, we call them agents. It's all going to be vanished, but at the back end, uh, we'd have, let's say we have a microservice to retrieve a particular loan from mainframe system. Mainframe doesn't have an APA, right? So a bot is going to be used on a mainframe system to do it, and send it to an agent to complete the rest of the task, right? So that part of the things will be hidden from the user, but that's going to be the future, right? It's going to be an agent, bot, human collaborative workforce that's going to happen.
Thank you. And the next question is, do you think the cost of APA will be more expensive than using RPA, and why?
Yeah, definitely. At least when we start any technology with an ML module and an AI powered uh, feature, definitely it's going to cost more than what we already have. Uh, but I don't. I think if you're going to make it non-affordable, then we're going to be losing a lot of this. UiPath is going to lose a lot of business, right? Definitely, they will come up with a very good pricing strategy, which will be compatible, or it should be in par with any other competitive solution out there, right? But that is just my guess, right? We never know. It's still being cooked.
Yeah. And the next question is, are you suggesting as an industry that we start to evolve our language to speak of agentic, comma, agent slash APA when we are referring to AI powered robots? Or is this separate and distinct software concept not currently within UiPath?
Yes, this is a new capability, but like I said, the bits and pieces, the features and capabilities of this what do you call, this is by itself a
Ecosystem.
particular solution, right? So there are bits and pieces to it, like let's say IDP, or building an ML based decisioning system, or using an integration service to a ServiceNow or a Salesforce. So those things already exist, and we also have autopilot capabilities, which recently got rolled out along with LLM capability, right? So these are all available now. They have to be just put together into a framework, um, which can be rolled out as a separate product or integrated to an existing product. That's still an open question, but it's going to happen very soon, right? And there'll be a lot of announcements very soon from UiPath. And this idea of the entire session is to create some awareness of what's coming, and making sure that the BBAs and product owners of the companies start utilizing the UiPath Discovery Suite to pick up those automation candidates which they thought will never be automated, right? So that was the whole thought process. Start building up your automation pipeline, line items which we thought, which is very essential for business, but which we thought cannot be done using an RPA or the intelligent automation capability currently, right? So that was the whole thought process. So if we build, if you start putting in the list together in 8 to 12 weeks, once the solutions are out, you can start using those agentic workflows to actually get the value before your competitors.
Yeah. I think we have one more question from Ripe. Do you think there will be trust issues from both customers and developers handling handing over important thought process to agents? And if so, how could that be mitigated? He's also giving some bonus information. A lot of customers are hesitant to hand over process to hand coded, well tested automation as it is.
Exactly, right? Definitely. So even with LLM, there is always going to be pushback from the customers, and that's why UiPath has introduced an AI trust layer, which is that platform itself is still being evolved. But the idea of the AI trust layer is to make sure that these uh, these kind of business risks are mitigated. I'm not going to go into the details, but what I think would be a good evolutionary part is in line with what Bobby and Greg was discussing today too, right? So they were talking about employee employee agents, where these agents would work along with your existing call center agent or claims adjudicators to help them with the regular activity, right? Once the business is very familiar with using agents to help their existing employees do their operation, once they trust, then the next evolution would be to use the autopilot capability to build and test or use those auto generation content in communication with the customer. That's the next level, which they call business agent, right? And then the last stage is the enterprise agent, where I was talking about a particular part of a business can be run completely by agent with very less supervision of the humans, right? I think what we're going to see in the next few months is the employee agent, where these agents would work along with your call center support people, your insurance agents, your loan closers, to help them with their work, do it better using their self-learning, decision-making capabilities. Once they're familiar, then it moves through the maturity cycle, right? So it's not going to. I mean, we're not going to directly use an end-to-end process completely done by agent. That's not going to happen overnight. We're going to go through this transition from an employee agent to a business agent, and possibly an enterprise agent in near future. That's what everyone is looking for. But it's going to completely change the way we are going to work, just like RPA did 5 years back. Now we have when we're talking RPA 7 years back, nobody they told it's just a fade. It's going to go away, right? So, but it didn't happen. So I'm very positive that this is the way we're going to work, and as technology professionals, we should be on top of this technology curve, uh,
Yeah.
and make it support.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Arun. I think there's one more question from Satish Kumar. What are the other challenges except cost benefit between RPA versus APA in GenAI platform solutions? Often people says that anything can be automated through GenAI platform, which might not be the correct decision in all scenarios.
Exactly. So just like how we identify an RPA candidate using a business case assessment, definitely there should be a very similar framework built for APA candidates as well, where we put in the cost and the benefit, find the ROI, uh, and only if it makes business sense, we would invest. Right? It's not like, let's say, a process is going to be then that just there are 100 variation of a process. We're not going to automate all 100 variation, right? Automating a bad process is not going to give you any good benefit. Definitely we have to optimize the process before we automate. The same, very similar concept. Basics of process automation and improvement ideas are not going to change. We're going to we're going to have new ways to do it, and it's going to save a lot of time and money for the company in long run, right? But the basic foundation of how do we identify the business case, ROI, those things will not change. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I think there is one question I missed in the first. From the developer point of view, what knowledge do you need to have to implement the solution with APA?
Okay, that's a good question, right? So from a developer perspective, um, in UiPath, we are going to just make it low code, no code, drag and drop feature. But still, if you would already work with RPA, then working with APA should be straightforward. Only thing is, we need to learn some of the basics of ML and other intelligent automation uh, technologies, and most of the things are already out there, right? The AI centers, process mining. But the thing is, you need to have an overview of the entire platform in order to
Yeah,
use these agents. Not a particular, let's say, if I'm a developer, I only do Studio. No, you need to know Studio, Test Suite, Insight, and process mining, right? When you build
yeah,
this agentic workflow, so you need to understand the capabilities because it cuts across the entire spectrum of the process suite.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, and there are going to be a lot of things, right? uh, and you're talking about multi-agent capability. So and I don't even know how the technology architecture is going to be when it comes to multi-agent, whether there'll be multiple agent on single mission, multiple missions. So those are still open. But from a developer perspective, most of these would be solved by UiPath, the technical architecture team, and they'll be handed over in a plater, just like they did with the LLM or any other feature, right? So it's going to make the life easy for a developer for sure.
yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Arun. I think those are all the questions in the chat. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or else we can wrap the session. Yeah, you can access the recordings once the session is closed. We will upload this to our UiPath Dallas chapter. So please register yourself so you can get all the updates of the future and the old past community chapters, community events that we conducted, and you can link it from there. Yeah, I'm going to paste the link here in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, please register yourself. Like, we are conducting monthly sessions in UiPath Dallas chapter, and we are very active. Not only us, like most of the uh, America's chapters, very active, and you can at least learn something. And we are also learning many good things from your questions. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, thanks for the opportunity for presenting today, and thanks to Diana as well.
yeah. I'm happy to collaborate with you, Arun, and thank you a lot. Yeah, we can wrap the session, and thanks a lot for joining, everyone, and you have a good one. Thanks.
Great session, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.